Hello everyone, welcome to Intellipaat. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Intellipaat and press that bell icon to get the latest updates from Intellipaat. In this session, we are going to talk about a database. A database, in its most general sense, is an organized collection of data, and this system allows a user to easily update, manipulate, or insert data. Databases are one of the most crucial components of any application, to be it web-based, system application, or mobile applications. Databases can be majorly classified as relational databases and non-relational databases. Now, before we begin, let's talk about the agenda for this session. First of all, we are going to begin with what exactly is a database, and then we are going to discuss the various types of database architecture. After that, we are going to talk about introduction to SQL and various tables that you can create in SQL. Moving further, we'll talk about constraints in SQL, and finally, to sum up this session, we are going to work on a hands-on. I hope you're clear with the agenda. So without any further ado, let's begin.
Welcome to our Intellipaat. We are going to provide right now the SQL set of training right now in these sessions. Okay. So in today's agenda, I will be going to cover some basic of SQL, some very basic, and then I will be going to do some installation. I'll show you on my machine, and the same you can try it out on your machines too. Okay. So if you have any questions or queries and anything, you are always welcome. You can ask in between the sessions too. Okay, thank you. And then I will go for the installation part of the SQL Server, how it has to be installed. Uh, I will show you. Okay, what were the different versions and more brief onto our SQL Server and all. I'll be going to take up in further sessions too. Okay, so let's take up the SQL, basic of SQL, what actually it is, what is database architecture, introduction to SQL and tables in SQL, we'll be going to discuss. For any software, whether you are working out with any software that you are taking up in the current scenario you take, we need some backend set of stuff, that is databases. We know that we are having front ends like C#, Java, Python, likewise, and in the similar fashion, we are having the backend databases like DB2, SQL Server, Oracle, MongoDB, like that. And one of the most popular databases that we are going to take care of, that is SQL Server database. So, but before that, we need to understand what is actually the database is, and would like to know how actually the databases architecture in SQL Server, why we need to go for the database, this set of stuff we are going to take care of here. A database is nothing but a collection of interrelated files actually. So in other words, an organized collection of data stored in electronic format is nothing but your database. An organized collection of data stored in electronic format is nothing but database, where we can access the data, security will be there, you can manipulate the data. I mean, you can change the data at any point of time if you would like to, and you want to update any data, you can do so. That's what the database is of. We are having few other set of advantages and all. As and when our session progresses, you will be learning few other set of details too. At that time, we'll take care of those details also. I'll show you. Now, we need some software to manage the database. That software we'll call it as a database management systems, DBMS. DBMS is a system software for creating and managing the databases. DBMS is a system software for creating and managing the databases. Here it is just collection of data you are storing in an electronic format. The format aspect point of view, what we do, we will be going to create and manage by means of the DBMS. Normally, the DBMS architecture, you'll have two things, file server architecture and client server sort of architecture, where the client will be going to be installed and server will be going to be there. Two things, client and server, both are different. Using the client, we will be accessing our server and we will be working out. And file server is another. In file server, what happens is normally the files will be going to be placed at one location. Either it may be a LAN or WAN or wherever it is. And you will be connecting to that particular files required. And you can able to retrieve, you can copy that file and you want to update that particular details, you can. But sometimes if you are not having access to that, you may not able to copy that, or you may not able to do the or whatever the changes that you have updated may not able to reflect immediately also. And there are some more problems. Not all the people can't view that particular file. Only the people who are accessing to that particular one or having access, they can only able to view that particular file. Limitations like only up to a maximum of 32,765 columns and rows aspect point of view only you can able to view the data in file server architecture. Whereas when you take up with the client server architecture, actually, where using our network, that we will install our server at one location. Using our network, you can access anywhere from the world through the network. That sort of thing it is available with our client server architecture. SQL Server supports the client server sort of architecture. We'll discuss more brief about the SQL Server in the later stage. I mean, in our next, tomorrow session likewise, we'll be discussing. But before that, we need to understand the SQL. See, SQL is very easy to understand, easy to implement, easy to work with. Okay, so what does this SQL stands for, and why we need to go for the SQL? What is the usage of the SQL, and all will be learning in our sessions. Okay, in our agenda it is there already. We'll be going to learn. But before proceeding, just understand. Let's understand the SQL mean. SQL means structured query language. That means it is having some specific sort of format, form. In that specific format only, it will be going to get the detail, or you will be providing the detail to it. Say example, syntaxes, some specific set of manner, the syntaxes will be there. That syntaxes you will be providing so that exactly whatever the requirement that you want, it will be retrieved and provided for us. So using SQL, it's a standard sort of format, the language for accessing and manipulating the database, it will be used. We will be providing in a command based manner. The commands are of data query language, which is also called as the in command that you will have is select command in that data query language, where you will have select command in it. Similarly, data definition language means in the sense you will be defining some set of data, how it has to be, in which format. Likewise, we will be defining. In that, you will have three important set of commands, that is alter, create, drop table. Likewise, you will have data definition language. In short, people will be calling it as a DDL, data definition language. In that, you'll have create table, alter table, drop table. 3. Next, in the same, the SQL, we are having another one, that is the data manipulation language, that is DML, data manipulation language, where you'll have insert, update, and delete. DML, where you can manipulate. Say, suppose if you have inserted some data, or suppose you have already given some data, you want to do some changes to it. You can able to do the changes, or you want to remove, or you want to delete, or you want to insert some new data. We can able to do it by using this insert, update, and delete sort of commands. You want to give access that you have done, then you can able to give access by using grant and revoke commands, that is data control language, DCL or TCL, transact control language, or DCL, anything is same. Grant and revoke comes into this one. So we will be creating the tables inside the database. So if you are having a rows and columns like our Excel sheet, okay, if you observe the MS Office, the Excel sheet, how it will be in the same fashion here also. We will organize the data in the form of rows and columns. If you are organizing the data in the form of rows and columns, then we will call it as a table. This is called as a table, where this table entirely, each and everything, we will be going to call it as a records. You see here, okay, you can call this as a records. And if you are going to have like this, then it is termed to be as a fields. Now, a field is nothing but like this, a specific information it will be going to be provided. Say in this one, age information it is giving, gender information it is giving, department information it is providing, name of the individuals it is displaying, employee ID it is displaying. This is nothing but the a field which is providing specific information about the data in a table is nothing but fields. It is. So usually, if you are going to provide an individual complete set of record information, if you are trying to provide, then it is termed to be say records. If you see here, 3 ANA 1125, I mean 1,25,000, likewise, and followed with her age is 25, and female analytics is a department that she belongs to. So if you are going to provide an information like to Bob 80,000, 21 is the age and male and support, if you are going to provide like this set of information we will be going to call it as a record. We'll call it as. So this is field, this is record. Okay, now these are the basic things that you should have to know before proceeding to our this particular SQL. First and foremost one that is very key important point that we have here is data query language. Query means some questionnaire, and you are questioning some set of stuff, and it is going to retrieve certain sort of details to us. If it is so, then it is termed to be a data query language, which is nothing but your select statement. Data definition language, creating table, altering table, drop table. Data manipulation language, where you will have insert, update, delete set of command in this. Grant and revoke comes under the data control language. And you should have to know about another important one. What does a table mean? Table is nothing but collection of rows and columns. It is. And this fields, the records, and this is called as a fields that you have. Field is nothing but a specific information about the column information. If you are going to give, it is nothing but fields. And here it is there with the records, where individual information, if it is going to provide, then it is termed to be say records. We'll call it as. And again, what is the SQL servers for structured query language? Okay, and in the similar fan, if you are taking up different categories that we have, data query language is there, data definition language is there, data manipulation language. All these things comes under this once for us. Okay, next, grant and sort of revoke sort of detail whenever you are working out. Okay, where it is you are granting certain sort of options or details. Okay, so data control language. Next, if you are going to give here the records, okay, so each and every set of one, each and every record that you have, where it will be going to be calling it as a records, and it is also true. And in one individual row in a table is termed to as a record, each and everything. Okay, so this is about the basic of our SQL is of. Now, before proceeding further, we should have to know how to install the software. Since we are using the SQL, we are installing this, or we are needs to work out with respect to the SQL means we need the software first. So let's download the client and follow with the server. I mean both the things, and follow with some sample databases we will be going to download. Now, please note down the steps, and if you have any questions or queries, always welcome. I will be there to help you out onto this particular. Let me guide you the download and installation of this particular thing. Just go to your this one in Google. Just type 2019. Click the first link. I'll provide you this link in the chat also. Okay. So if you are having a little bit older machines, or suppose if you are having already on your machines, then also no issues. Keep it as it is. Don't change the versions. We are going to work out on 2019 version. Here we are having Express version and developer versions. Likewise, you can use any of the versions. See here, you can find the different versions in this one in the download. You can see here, you will be getting like this the link. Okay, so scroll down. You can download this developer version or Express version. Developer is like a full featured free edition, which is going to be available for you for around 180 days. And you can able to, for non-productive set of environment, you can use it. For your personal aspect point of view too, you can use this particular version. If your machine is having a limited resources like only 4 GB RAM and less amount of processing sort of stuff, if you are having so, or anything with i3 or i5 sort of machine, if you are using and if you would like to, then you can go with this express version. Okay. Otherwise, you can go with this developer version also. No issues. Let me show you the developer version. Okay. So just click this download now. Okay. If you want, you can walk through this particular session. No issues. Just click this download now. The moment you click download now, it will ask for you. Sometimes it will be going to ask you the username and password, or Microsoft Outlook, or followed with your Gmail account, or followed with other. It will ask. Otherwise, just simply it will be, and click save as. Save in some location. I have already downloaded and saved it. You can see here it is already downloaded and saved it. So you'll be getting like this SQL 2019 folder with developer, and expand and unzip that file. You'll be going to get like this. Okay, you will get like this one entire set of file. Just double click this setup. Okay, now it will start downloading and installation. Now observe the one. Now you are installing the server right now. Right now you are installing the server. So here it will be going to give you planning, installation, maintenance, tools, likewise. Click on to the installation stuff and see here you will find SQL Server standalone installation and add-on features to an existing installation. Click this particular link. The moment you click this link, it will be going to gives you the same. Just please observe. Now you'll be getting like this the screen. See, once again I repeat, if you are having already on your machine any old version 2017 or 2016 or 14, simultaneously you can run this version also and follow with the other versions too. No issues. You don't change. You just download this particular one and click install. Now once again I will show you. It will runs this particular basic set of operations. Okay, just general check operations. Click next. So you'll be getting like this the screen, the instep setup file. Okay, now click next. Here the new set of installation already in my machine. These are the all instances that I am having. This is called as instances, and instance ID, features that is installed, which version it is having, and followed with the version name. Now observe here carefully. Instance name. Instance name means one which invokes the database to start. You are having the database. Database is nothing but collection of files. But to start that particular database, we need some instance. That instance is nothing but one which invokes the database to start. And for that instance, you will have an instance ID. Each and every instance name will be followed with an instance ID. Instance ID is nothing but a specific sort of manner to invoke internally the services for us. That is a instance ID. It is for each and every machine identification purpose and invoking the instance purpose. This instance ID will be going to be there. Usually, if you are having a enterprise version, developer version, express version, likewise we are having, I mean editions that we are having. So if you are having the developer version, then in the latest, these are the details it is installing, the SQL engine replications and followed with all other set of stuff, details, everything it will be going to be installed with the limited capabilities. Limited in the sense users will be restricted. Almost all the operations with respect to the enterprise versions were all available with respect to the edition, I mean the dev editions too. It is available, but very limited set of users and followed with the processor and followed with the RAM. These three constraints were only thing which will be going to be limited with respect to the developer and followed with express. Means in the sense, suppose if you are taking with the developer editions at around 20 instances only, you can able to, likewise some restriction you are imposing here, not by us, by Microsoft. They themselves has imposed the restrictions. In express, maximum of some 10 instances you can install. More and more instances if you wants to have, so you can have by using the enterprise edition, you can have it. If you take an example, library university, libraries, like that. If you take a library as a instance, okay, just an example sake, I'm saying library as an instance. You can still in a company, otherwise you take up. I have some several departments. For each and every department, I can create some separate instance for them, so that only that particular department people only can access and they can work with it. So if it is so, I can create a separate instance. Or you consider education aspect point of view. For all the .NET users, I will create one .NET instance. For all Java users, I will create one Java instance. For advanced Java sort of stuff people, I will create another instance, advanced Java instance. So that those group of people can have or can access that particular one. So if that manner, if at all, if you would like to, then you can go with respect to the instance. So let us create one instance. Let me show you how to create the instance. If you are working out with an Express version, these all steps it won't ask you. It won't ask you for any set of steps. In Express edition, just only click next, next. In a long run aspect point of view, if you want to run or if you are going with some other set of topics likewise, then suggestible one is to go with the developer version rather than Express version. As I said, if you are having limited set of capabilities or limited resources on your machine, suggestible to one to go for Express version. Now click this next. Okay, so perform a new installation. Now click next. So developer version, click next. Accept the license agreement, click next. Okay, you see here instance feature for R programming, Python and Java. Okay, and all in advanced set of stuff. You can select it like this. Database engine services, replication services, machine language services, machine learning services, R Python, and followed with all other services. You can select analysis services, data quality services, full text and semantic services, poly-based services. All these things you can select here. So by default, it will be installed in this C drive location with respect to this. In real time, depending upon the requirement, we will be installing whether it is C or whether it is AE or followed with other locations. We will be installing this instance. So I'm selecting these things. Okay. By default, all these other set of stuff, it will be selected for us. And if you click like this, select all, then automatically it will be selected, the requirement aspect, and click next. Need mandatory 3.0 version of the PowerShell is needed. Anyway, it is installed on with respect to your Windows version, Windows machine. Sometimes you'll be getting like this poly-based installation. Since already I have installed, so uncheck this poly-base. Click next. Okay. Now comes the instance. See here, it is asking for the instance. You can provide the instance, any instance name. You can provide it here in this. Okay. So let's provide instance. Okay. So it is going to install the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. See, suppose if you are connecting with a Linux aspect point of view, they are using this Julu JRE or the Java Runtime Environment in order to connect. For that sake, this JRE they are installing. If you are using Linux and installing this version, otherwise it's not required, you can skip it. Click next. Now here it is the agent for running the jobs, database engine, analytical services, SSDT services, and full text daemon services. These are all additional features it is going to install for us. These are the service accounts it is going to. So dev22 is the service account that I have provided. I mean the instance name that I have provided, and click next. Automatically it will create. Collation is nothing but the engine and followed with what type of language that you are trying to use. So say suppose Latin, or suppose if you are using with some another binary code, likewise you can select it here. Otherwise just you can skip, or here also you can select. See here it is providing so many, plenty of other languages aspect point of view, Swedish, Slovakian, Scandinavian, Polish, so many. So we will be having the Latin, the keyboard aspect point of view, and further case sensitive and all. So use the same and select it and click next. Your server configuration, it will be provided. Windows authentication mode and SQL Server authentication mode. These are the two types of authentication modes. It will be provided for us. Windows authentication mode means as soon as you log into your Windows, system will takes care of logging into your SQL Server also. Same username and password will be applied and you can able to log into your Windows machine. That's what Windows authentication mode is. Windows authentication mode means as soon as you log into your Windows, system will allows you to connect to your SQL Server also. It's fully automatic. Now select a mixed mode. Mixed mode means for individual users, for each and every individual users, separate passwords we can provide. Say suppose in your company, within say suppose some finance department is there. In finance department, some 10-20 employees are there. For all those 10-20 employees, I'll provide a separate username and password for them so that they can able to access. If that is so, we'll call it as a mixed mode. So but all this one administrator will be there for accessing the account and all. So for that sake, we'll be going to have one password. So provide it here, a password, just give an input password and click add current user. That means it will adds the administrator or the current user to our machine. So add it and click next. Tabular mode, multidimensional and data mining mode, power pivot mode. These are the other set of modes. These modes are needed for the analysis services. Means in the sense for people who are going with MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence, or in other words, SSDT. Likewise, for them it is needed. This particular analysis services we are using for them actually. So add the current user and click next again. Data directories, you won't have anything, just it will have only the location where it is installing. Those details it will be provided here. Where it is installing the data, log files where it is going to have, the temp directories where it will be having, the backup files where it is going to install. Those details it will be provided here. And click next now. So our programming aspect point of view, it will install some set of files. Just accept the license agreement and click next now. Now it is installing the Python for us, a good competitive to our Java, where Microsoft they themselves providing some set of installation for this Python. Accept the license agreement and click next. Click on install. So these are all the features that we have selected. All those features it is going to display. Before clicking install, you can finally check this particular one. You can see here developer version, and these are the important set of files. These are the features it is going to install. The instance name that we have installed in this. Now click install. Installation will takes around some max of 10 minutes to 15 minutes. It will take 10 minutes, not beyond that. It will takes to complete the installation. Now this is a server installation only. The one that we have seen just now is completely server installation. We need some client also. In order to access the server, we need the client. So to install the client, go to this and say here download SSMS 2019. Download SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, just click this download SQL Server Management Studio. Scroll down, download SQL Server Management Studio. If you scroll down, you'll find like this download SQL Server Management Studio SSMS 18.10. Latest is 18.10. Okay, you can have it here, which is released on October 5 in the recent times. Just click this, then it will downloads for us. Just to say open, and it will downloads for us this particular one. In the meantime, this installation also finishing off. A few more minutes, it is going to complete this download. And in the meantime, this installation is also completing. You can see you are downloading the client. That is the previous one that we have downloaded is and installed is server. So now we are installing the client so that you can very easily access or anything administration aspect point of view. You can access creating the tables, inserting all these things we can able to do using a GUI aspect point of view. You can do normally the command aspect point of view. If you wants to do it, will be a little bit problematic. So the best is to have a client. The installation is also about to finish. You can see. Okay. Okay, let it be. Just SSMS installation is very simple. Just click next, next. Automatically it comes up. Let me show you. Once when it is these two has been installed successfully, go to the start button and you'll find here like this SQL Server 2019 and you'll find like this the installed components like this. Okay. So what you need to do is just you'll find the SQL Server. Just type SSMS on your machine. Then immediately it will opens like this SQL Server Management Studio. Click this application. Now it is showing 18.10. The one that we are downloading is 18.10, and you can see here 18.9. There's only a change. Other than that, nothing. Just please observe. Now, SQL Server Management Studio, it is opening. SSMS, just to type SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so you'll be getting this. Now, observe here. It will ask for you like this, the database engine and the server name. So generally, just now we have done some server installation. You can have that installation here. You can check. See here, you are able to. Still, the installation is going on. Other than that, nothing.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Microsoft SQL certification training in partnership with Microsoft. The course link of which is given in the description below.
Otherwise, it would have completed. Just select it. Click connect. The moment we click connect, it opens the server for us. You can see here, this is how the server. And in the server, this is my machine name, and this is my instance name, and this is the version that we are having. And the administrator, the databases, security, server objects, replication, polybase, these details, it will be there. If you install an express version, then you don't find always on high availability, polybase, and you don't have this SQL Server agent, and follow with these three things you won't be finding in this other one actually. Okay, polybase, always on high availability, and follow with SQL Server agent. These details you may not able to view in that. So these things are the differences that you will be going to have when you are working out. Remember. Suppose if you are providing the SQL Server authentication, select it, click, you give the password and username, it will connect. This is user based. This is admin based. Either of the when you can use, there is no restriction. Okay, so now let us first understand how to create the database. Creating a database, you can have like this: create database name. Whatever the database name that you want to provide, you can provide it here. Means of this. Any name, any valid name you can provide. Don't provide spaces in between any character to character or with respect to the name whenever you are giving database aspect point of view. At the rate of remaining anything you can provide in while giving the database name. Next, if you want to use some specific databases, suppose you have created some 3-4 databases, and you would like to use that some database, then you need to specify use database name. If you specify the use database name, then that specified database only can be used, and whatever the work that you are doing or performing will be done or will be uh, taken care of with respect to the database itself. If you don't want to have the database, you can use the drop database name. If you provide, then that entire database will be dropped for us. Data types in SQL, you are going to have integer, char. Likewise, we are having so many number of databases, data types have been provided for us. You can use whatever the data type that you want to have, so including mine and for with the other data types were also provided. We'll discuss about, I will show you. Okay, in here, what are the different data types that we have. Basically, here data type ranges, big int, this is the biggest range that you have. Integer, this is the range that you can provide. Small int, tiny int, decimal, you can provide like this. You are having float, and you are having other monetary sort of details too. Currency is there, small money is there. Currency, suppose if you have installed this particular software in you, bytes, if it is money, if you provide with that much big number, you can provide whenever you are working. 55 characters, and n and varchar also can able to take up, and for 35 characters. We are trying to gather the information on character data types. Char data types, we are having char, varchar, and text. Regarding fastness aspect point of view, char will be the much more faster than compared to that of varchar. You declare either char or varchar, anything is same. But only one small difference that you will be going to get is only with respect to the fastness. Okay. Either when you take with the char or varchar. Both of the one, okay, fine, you can provide it. Next, coming to the text, if suppose if you wants to have declare some huge amount of multilingual characteristics data or some huge number of data, if you want to store, then you can store it in the text format. They have provided for us another important set of characters, nchar, nvarchar, in text sort of stuff, where some Unicode multi-language language sort of stuff, language aspect point of view. Okay, you can provide it. Nchar, nvarchar, in text, you can provide. There is no difference, but for all if you want to store some different language formats, details, then go for nvarchar, in text, and nchar formats. Next, you are having the date and time, date aspect point of view, YY, MMDD. Please note, when coming to the date aspect point of view, the default aspect point of view, always it will be taking up in the form of MMDDYY format. MMDDYY format, it will take up by default. If suppose you want to change it into a different date format, say suppose some country they will use DDMMYY format. Some countries they will use YYDDMM formats, and different slash they will use, dot they will use, followed with time also they will use to help this particular data types with their own country data date manner. Microsoft has provided nearly 126 different types of conversions have been provided. You can declare the date and you can convert and display according to the requirement of the customer or the concerned. That is available whenever you are working out with respect to this. Next, the next is about images. Other miscellaneous data types like image, unique identifier likewise is also provided. You can use that particular one to images and forward it to the other. Next, so this is about the data types that we have. So many other different data types are also given. Most of the things will comes under this particular categories only. Now coming to the next concept here, that is about the constraints. What is the constraints? What is the need for the constraints? Why we need to go for the constraints? Let's understand. Constraints mean imposing some restrictions while inserting your data. That means whenever you try to insert, you are it will be going to checks whether the rules and regulations have been followed. If the rule is followed, then it will insert the data. Otherwise, it will intimates you that okay, you cannot insert the data because of so and so reason. So constraints here has been defined into not null, unique, default, primary key, likewise. Let's understand the not null and followed with the other. Not null means the column cannot have a null value. Don't provide any empty set of value. Okay, then it is not null constraints. Should have to mandatorily specify the value. So example, employee ID, book ID, product ID, like this sort of one are very good examples of the not null. Wherever the value is mandatory, then we should have to specify it as a not null constraints. Next, the next is about default constraint. Some default value, if at all if you want to provide, you can provide it by using this. Say you are not providing the value, system itself has to take up some value. For that sake, we can provide a default value. That is what we'll call as a default constraint. So we are ensuring that okay, some value is existing to that particular record. For that sake, the default constraint is to be specified. Unique constraint. Unique constraint means one and itself. There is no repetition to the particular value. If it is so, Then it is termed to be as a unique constraint. Unique constraint will ensure that all values in the column are different. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Null, if you provide into a unique constraint, yes, you can, but repetition, not. Null value can act as a unique, but you may not able to provide more than one null value to the unique constraint. Remember, very important note. Primary key constraint uniquely identifies each and every record in a table. Not null and unique will always forms to be the primary key. Not null and unique will always forms to be the primary key. Mandatory, the value is mandatory, and also it will act as a unique. Then it is termed to be as a primary key. Okay, so this is how the constraints have been provided. Now, in order to create a table, you can create the table like this, define the columns, assign the data types. These three things we should have to provide whenever you want to create a table. So the create table syntax will be looking like this: create table, table name, column name, and data types, and followed with constraint, constraint name, constraint type should has to be provided for the creating table. Suppose, okay, and you can want to see the values, you can provide the select statement so that you can able to view the values for the given. Okay, so up to here, fine. Now let's see the things practically. Okay, then we will understand how it will be going to works for us. So click on to your machine, select Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio that we have created yesterday, that we have installed yesterday. Just click that. Now I'll show you two ways to create the tables. Okay, let us see first the two different ways to create this database and tables, and followed with the one. First, I'll show you with respect to the GUI aspect point of view, graphical user interface aspect point of view. First, I'll show you. Then we'll work with the command prompt also. Most of the times in real time, some people they will prefer the GUI aspect point of view. Some people they will prefer the command aspect point of view. Whether you work with the GUI or command prompt, either of the one, it is same. There is no much change. Few differences you can able to see. I'll show you those differences too. Select like this, see, observe. You'll get like this. You can select the instance that we have created yesterday, or whatever instance that you have, you can select it. Okay, and click here and selecting this instance, SQL Server Express 2. Okay, like this. Now, let me show you how to create our own database. This database creation we will call as a user-defined database creation. Okay, select it, right click, new database. You click. The moment you click new database, then it will opens like this manner. Database name, logical name, file, groups, and followed with one. Provide some name to the database. Okay, provide like this. Any name you can give. Okay, I'm giving like this. Logical name that you can able to see. Physically, the file will be created here. As I said at first itself, the database is nothing but it's a collection of interrelated files. As I said earlier itself, a database is nothing but collection of interrelated files. So here it is. Physically, this is called as a master data file, MDF file, and this is called as a log data file, LDF file. This MDF file will store the data permanently for us, and this log data file will be going to have the log set of details with us, basically. Now, I'll show you one important note here. Whenever you are working out, SQL Server architecture basically stores the information in the form of each and every information it will be storing in the form of 8 KB size. Each 8 KB size will comprise of one page. Each page will be going to have three important set of things: data pages, index pages, and free space pages. Data pages means where the entire set of data will be written. It will write the entire set of data into it, into that location. So wherever it is writing, that data we'll call it as a data pages. Index pages means like normally textbook, how you will have in the same form, each and every set of pages that you have will be having a index to it. Means in the sense the page numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. How you will have normal book whenever you purchase, in the same fashion, the index will be created for each and every page. That page will call it as a index pages, in other words. Free space pages means where the pages are empty, not having any sort of record or detail in it. Then it is termed as a free space pages. We'll call it as empty. There is nothing. There is no data in it. Okay. Then it is termed as a free space pages. It is called as. Next, these collection of pages we'll call it as a extends. The collection of pages is termed as a extends. Here I have written collection of continuous pages or in a sequential form is nothing but extends. There are two types of extents. One is a uniform extent, another one is mixed extent. Mixed extent means where the data is going to have with different objects information. Whatever the information that you are providing, it won't be of single set of stuff, multiple set of data. Likewise, if it is there, so then it is termed as a mixed extent. The next you will have uniform extent. Uniformly, the data is going to be consisting. If it is so, then we will call it as a uniform extent. It is. Okay, next. The next you'll have files. These collection of extents we'll call as a files. The files are in the form of two types we are having. One is master data file, MDF file, and LDF file, where the log data file will have. These collection of files only we are calling it as a database. So this is how the structure it will be going to be: rows and columns, then followed with pages, then followed with extents, then collections, files, and followed with the databases. But we learned in our previous session that DBMS is the software which will be going to be there for managing these databases. In the present day scenario, we are having ORDBMS, RDBMS likewise. Actually, this RDBMS has been proposed by EF COD with 12 rules. Any RDBMS or ORDBMS, whatever the management sort of softwares that we have, it has to follow these rules. Information rule, access rule, treating null rules, online catalogs, updating, deleting, inserting, it has to be having. Physically, it has to be independent. Logically, also, it has to be present. It can be distributed. Views can be existing. Subversion rules. Likewise, we are having these rules only it has to satisfy. If satisfied, then only we will make it as a, or we will call it as a RDBMS or Object Relational Database Management Systems. In the present times, we are having Object Relational Database Management Systems. All of the one that currently in the market were of ORDBMS most of the times. Now, let's take here. This is my database that I am creating. Now, logical name, amount of space that you have allocated. Now click OK. No need of other option. We'll discuss these other options in the later. Just click OK. Okay. So using GUI, you've created your database. See now, database is ready. These database you see here, Apple DB and Adventureverse DB, BenQ DB, Intellipaat DB, Reliance DB, Samsung DB, like that. These all databases are user-defined databases. Then is there any other databases in the? Yes, we are having system databases also will be there. Basically, you will have 4 important set of databases. If you are working on, sometimes you may observe the 5th databases too. But basic aspect point of view, it is divided into 4 types. 1, master database, model, MSDB, temp.db. Master, model, MSDB, temp.db. Master database is like brain of entire set of databases. You have so many number of databases. Maybe your own user defined databases you may have, or system defined databases you may have, or whatever it is, it may be. You may have a number of databases. There is no problem at all. But basic aspect point of view, whenever you are going to work out, usually you'll have the key aspect point of view, the key database is master database. Whatever the information that you are doing, or whatever the content that you are performing, or replication, you see here, you'll find replication set of concept, or the logins set of concept, security set of concepts, the roles aspect point of view, metadata management aspect point of view, were all will be taken care by the master database. One of the most important one. MSDB database means, suppose I can say that the secondary important set of database is nothing but your MSDB database. In the sense, suppose you are doing, or suppose you want to take the backup. Now, say suppose at around 340 you are taking the backup. This MSDB database will records the information that, okay, at around 3:40 p.m. on 20th October, the backup has been taken up. Likewise, not only the backups, replication set of techniques, job information that you have done, or the jobs that you are ran, management set of information, auditing set of information, all information, it will be stored in MSDB database. It will be managed by the MSDB database. Model database is a sample database that is provided for us. Sample manner how the database has to look like is provided by means of this model database. TempDB is a database where temporarily you want to store some set of data, some information, likewise, then you can able to do it so by using TempDB. Until your session is existing, the moment you log out from the session, then immediately the data has not to be there. It will vanishes. So suppose some Java person is there for testing purpose. He has done some, he has created some database table and followed with some set of records he has inserted and he has observed. Once when he logs out, gone. The entire set of data will be going away. Nothing will be present in that, in TempDB. Not only that, suppose I am doing some analytical services, reporting services, or integration services. Likewise, especially the reporting services more. If you are doing some reporting services and all, and if you are extracting some information and temporarily it has to be there, once the report generation is completed, then it has to close. Nothing should be existing. The users or anything, it should not. In that sort of scenario, the TempDB is to be done. I'll show you in our later stage. I'll show you the importance. In our course content, I'll show you here. You'll have the temp database, what is the temp table, temp variable, what it is, how it is going to have so and all. In our later stage, it will come. So I'll show you there. Okay. But for the time being, remember TempDB is nothing but temporarily you can able to store the information into it. Okay, not beyond. Once when your work completes, it won't be present there. That is the reason why we'll call it as a TempDB. We'll call it as. Next, this is about the system defined database. Just now you have created the database, this one. Now let me show you. Go to C drive, SQL Server. You'll find SQL Express data. See here, this is what the thing. Go to the data folder. Okay, fine. Here it is, Flipkart, the database that we have created just now. See, this is what we'll call as a physical location. The logical name is that Flipkart. Physically, this is. And this file, you see here, Flipkart, this file will call as a MDF file, master data file, or also called as primary data file also. People will be calling either of the one, same name, primary data file, or you can call it as a master data file, MDF file, in other words. And this is called as a transaction log file, in other words, to say log data file, LDF file. Basically, in SQL Server, what happens is we will have buffer, and this is what we'll call as a LDF file. It will have two compartments. This is what we'll call as a MDF file. It will have two compartments basically. As soon as you fire any command, it will be sent to the buffer. From the buffer, it will send to the LDF file. This is below the checkpoint and this is above the checkpoint. Whenever the data is full in the checkpoint, then the data will be going to be stored into the above the checkpoint. All the data which is maybe going to commit only will be saved in this. Once when the data is committed, it will be stored into the MDF file. The MDF file will consist of permanent set of data. Only updation sort of things only can be done whenever you are working out with the MDF file. So like this, the data will be continuously, it will be stored into the MDF file. Okay, got it? Now we have created one database. Let me show you one more database, how to create. Select the databases, right click, new database, provide the database, and click OK. Database is created. This is the graphical user interface manner I'm creating the database. Now, similarly, let's create a table. The moment you open a database or expand the database, you will find here tables, views, synonyms, likewise you'll find. Select the tables, right click, new table you say. You know already table is nothing but a collection of rows and columns. So now it is asking for the column name, data type, allow nulls, likewise. So provided here the relevant column names and data types and followed with the other. So I'm not going with respect to the constraint currently. Just I'm showing you simple way of creating a table. So let's create one table. Prod ID, production ID, product ID, otherwise integer. Okay, allow nulls. Okay, if you want to make the product ID as mandatory, then uncheck it. Product ID for any product that you purchase, compulsorily it will be going to have one ID to it. So we'll call it as a prod ID, and it is an integer data type. And for with the allow nulls, I'm selecting it. Next, product name, varchar, provide it allow nulls in that. Okay, whenever you are working out, you can provide it here in this product ID, product name, cost price. Okay, allow nulls. Then next, date of manufacture, date data type. Next, number of pieces, number of items. You can provide integer or numeric, whatever it is. Yes. Now, let's save the table. Go to the top, right click, click save table. Give the table name. You can provide the table name, relevant one, product. Okay, I'm providing the name as a product and click OK. So here in this case, I'm not considering any constraints or any set of stuff, just a simple table without any constraints except the not null. Okay, so I have created one table. See, now let me create another table. And if you want to see the table, you can see the table here. See, the table is created successfully. Now let me create another table. Just select it, right click, new table. Now you can create another table. Say suppose flights, flight number. Flight number varchar aspect point of view it can have. flight name, source from, destination to, cost price or fare, date of travel or travel date. Any other thing? Luggage. Can you help me out by providing any other column names too? Yeah. Any other column you want to include? Total number of passengers in the flight, total seats or number of seats. Any other columns you want to provide? And provide it. Okay, fine. Now let's take up here. Right click, save table. Flight info. Save it. Now refresh it, then only you can able to see, otherwise not. See, tables are created successfully. Now you want to insert the data into it. Very simple, inserting of the data. It is very simple. Right click, edit, top 200 rows. You see, once again, I'll show you. See here, select the required table, right click and say edit top 200 rows. Product ID, product name, cost price, date of manufacture, number of items. See how data has changed automatically. You see YYYY, MM and DD format it has changed. If value date is not given, this is what you will get.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Microsoft SQL certification training in partnership with Microsoft. The course link of which is given in the description below.
Like this manner, you can provide the records into the table. The moment you close, automatically it will be saved. For every 0.003 milliseconds, the data will be saved. If you want to save, no issues, very simple it is. You can save. And you want to view again the data that you have entered, you can select it, right click. Now select it, right click, select top 100 rows, click on, and it will shows you the data that you have entered into the table. See now, this is how you can able to create or insert the data into the thing. Next, let's see here. Click. I'll enter the data into the flight in top 200 row. The data, flight number. Okay. See how I'm entering the data. If you give a wrong data, then it won't agree. Immediately it will raise us an error. Say example, in fare, you have given it as a number. And if you have provided like this, it won't allow. It will give you an error like this. So be cautious to provide the data. Okay. You can provide or you can insert. And the moment you close, the data will be present. So this is how you can able to create the table, insert the table, insert the values into the table. This is how you can able to do so. Select it, right click and say edit top 200 rows. Now see here, just select this, press delete option. You can delete the record. Select that record that you want to delete and press delete option. Then that record will be removed from the table. This is how you can delete the records. And suppose if you want to update, you can update. Say suppose number of seats, 6, provided with the 6 records. Now if you close it and run, then you can able to view only one table with the updated record. Is that clear? Now let us create the databases using the command prompt and followed with some tables and followed with some constraints, rules and regulations like this. Let us take up. So let me open like this. Whenever you want to create some tables using the query based manner, then you can able to create it by using this manner. Just click first new query and select the database that you want to have. So you can select here. I want to create it in this. Okay, some shopping cart or Flipkart, whatever it is. Or you can type like this also. Use the concerned database that you would like to have. So, okay, whatever the database that you would like to, you can. Say example, you want to use Apple DB, something. You can select it like this. Okay, use followed with the concerned database name. In which database you want to run your query based set of details. At first itself, you need to select. so that the concerned table or concerned database will be taken up, and you can able to create your creating, inserting, updating, whatever you want, you can do so in that. Now, okay, first let us observe here. Is there any tables? First check some sample tables. Nothing is there in that. You see here, no tables. Now let's create the table. Whenever you want to create a table in the concerned database, there are two ways: using constraint, without using the constraints. Constraints are, as I have already explained you, if you are imposing some rules and regulations at first itself while inserting the data. While inserting the data itself, you are imposing some rules, so that based on those rules, the data will be inserted. Now, let us first take up the table, how to create the table, in which manner. Okay, simple table, and then how to handle the null values and all. Let us take up. So I'm going to create here the table. The syntax of the table creation, it will be looking like this: create table, table name, followed with column name, followed with the data type. You'll have like that, without any sort of constraints. Okay, I'm not giving any constraints. The syntax, simple one. Let's see how to create a table without constraints, inserting the values, updating the values, deleting the values. Likewise, we'll see. Now, this is how the creating of a table will be. Create table, students, this number, integer, this name, varchar, money, data type. Money is also data type. So just select it and say simple execute. Create table, students. Students is a table name. Yes number is one column, which is of data type integer. Yes name is another column, which is of data type varchar, and fees, which is of data type money. This is the length that I am providing for the yes name. That means up to this much length you can able to use. So when you want to provide a name in that, this is the width. For integer and money, there is no need to provide any width. We are having for some set of data types, we have the width where you need to specify. Say example, I'll show you one more. Now I'm creating another table. Create table, book number, integer. See here, every time to give a book number by us, it will be difficult task. System has to take care of automatically the book number. Say suppose you went to a bank, then the bank your account number will be automatic. The next number will be going to comes automatically for us. Similarly, book number also. You can provide some ISBN number. Say example, ISBN number. The ISBN number should be automatic. Okay, the number, only number I am considering, not numeric. Usually it will be going to have the char and numeric, both the things it will be there. So I'm considering here only the integer sort of stuff. Okay, so you can provide it here, identity 1, 1. That means start with 1, increment by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that manner it will be incremented. Suppose if I give here start with 100 and increment by 1 means 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, like that it will be. Suppose if I give here 5, 105, 110, 115, 120, like that it will be continued. System will provide that number for us. We don't need to provide any number or any sort of stuff. We don't be providing, or we don't be giving to that. That's what it mean actually here. It is okay. So that is what the purpose of having identity. Next, comma, author name, varchar 40, number of pages, numeric 10, 2. Okay, number of pages 10, 2 means total number of digits will be 10. After the decimal, it will be 2 digits. That generally number of pages you will have 200, 100 integers manner it will be. For the sample sake, for example purpose, I am giving numeric 10, 2. Okay, so now next, where money matters. Okay, see here. Now I'm creating the table. create table, table name, table created successfully. You can see table has been created successfully. Like this manner, we can create the table. Clear? Observe. Okay. Now, if you want to see the tables, just select it, refresh once so that you can able to see the tables, books and students. These are the two tables which we have created. Now let's insert the values. Let's see the syntax of the insert statement. Usually the insert syntax, it will be looking like this. The syntax of the insert statement, it will be looking like this. Insert into table name, values, value 1, value 2, value 3. This is 1. Or you can use like this, insert into table name, column name 1, column name 2. Like this, you can provide values, value 1, value 2. Like this, you can provide. Okay, you can provide the values like this. This is another. Okay, we're having another syntax also, whereby if you would like to create a table which is already existing or you want to have, so you can use like this also. Select star into table 1 from table 2, like this also. These are the three important different types of syntaxes that we have. We'll see further other syntaxes too. Okay, but remember this particular one. This is how you can able to provide the syntax whenever you are working out. Select star into table 1 from table 2. Like this manner, you can create the syntax. Insert into this manner you can use, or this way, anyway you can. It's up to you. Okay, so let's insert some values into this particular one. Students values 1, comma. Whenever you are providing a varchar or char, you should have to provide it in a single quote. Single quotes inside you write. Okay, like this. Now execute it. Inserted successfully. Now let's again insert another one. As many values as you want, you can provide it here. Okay, click it. Now you want to view all the results, you need to follow the syntax of the select. Select star or column name from table name, you need to provide. Okay, now let's give the select syntax. Star from students. Now you can see it's going to give us all the values. Whatever the values that you have inserted, all those values it is displaying here in this. Clear? Select star from students. So in this case, what we have done, we have inserted the values into the students table and we have verified the values whether it has been inserted. Now observe carefully. Now, since if you observe in this particular one, I have provided the identity column for the books. How to do the inserting for this table also? Let us see. Let us observe. So go to this, select from books, observe. There is no values. Now let's insert. Insert into books, values. Specifically mention the column that you want to. Author name, number of pages, fair. Author name, number of pages, fair. Okay, author name, number of pages, fair. Don't provide any value to the ISBN. We won't be providing any value to the ISBN. So provide it here. Author name, fair, something. Okay, now run this. Insert it. First value inserted successfully. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, so all values have been inserted successfully. Now observe here, select star from books. Okay, see now automatically the system has taken up the values, the identity values. You see here 100, 105, 110, 115, 120. Now observe carefully. So you have followed the insert, creating, inserting, we have seen. And now we need to understand about the updating, deleting, and truncate. 3 statements we are going to learn: update, delete, truncate, and alter. Alter will comes for us later, but for the time being, let's take up this 3. Update means if suppose you want to update some name or some column, some value you want to update, then you can update it by using the concept called as update. Let us first see the syntax of this update. Update table name, okay, set column name equal to value where condition. You can write like this, or if you want to update the entire whole of this data, then you can provide like this also. But mostly the first one will be used: update table name, set column name equal to value, comma, column name, value, like that. Here also it will follows equal to value, like that it will. But here in this case, the above case, we will have where condition, whereas here in this one, we're not having any where condition. We are just having this particular information only. Here have, okay. So like this, you can able to provide the entire set of information. Now, right. Now next, let's update the data. Let me update here this particular value in books table. I want to update the value, the number of pages I would like to update here for this particular Bhavesh, or in other words, the ISBN number 115. Now let's update. Update. What is the table name? Books is the table name. Set. So set the column for which one, if you would like to, for which one we should have to provide it. Say suppose if you are providing for the column, some column, number of pages, set num underscore pages equal to, so I would like to make it as 500. Okay, just a second. Okay, 500. I'm making this particular one for 500, where ISBN equal to 115. That means immediately it will looks into this particular books table, sets number of pages to 500, where this ISBN is equal to 115. Like that manner it will be done. Provided you should have to see that the unique manner the values. If suppose some repetition set of values likewise as that, then what happens is it will take up that repeated set of values also. It will updates. Okay, now see here, just run this particular one and see, verify it is updated successfully. Now you want to update using author name. Yeah, you can update books, set author name equal to B, something, whatever you want. Where you want to have another column also to be updated within that, yeah, you can say put a comma, fair is equal to 800, where ISBN equal to 110. Now in place of this one, okay, run it. See now, let's verify. This 2 hyphens denotes it's a comment. Make a note. This 2 hyphens denotes it's as a comment. So ISBN equal to 110. Okay, so see now. Now see here. Here it is. Now observe here. Here also I have given the same name, and here also I have given same name. Now suppose if you are trying to update some specific set of name or followed with the one, you should have to be cautious. So the name sort of thing has been repeated. So this sort of one will cause us anomalies for us. So you should have to be cautious whenever you are working out with this sort of thing. Okay, so be cautious while inserting the data. Redundant data, renaming, this sort of things will occur. So be cautious while entering this particular one. Now, let me take up another one more example for us. Let's insert the values into update this particular one. Students one I will update. Say example, I want to update this one, insert into students. I would like to update. Okay, so update students set. So what is the column name for this one that you have provided? Fees. Okay, so set fees equal to where yes number equal to 2. Now if you run this, the students table, it will executes and see here the data has been updated successfully. Like this manner, we can update the data at any point of time. If any data you would like to update or anything, this is how you can able to update. This is the procedure, or this is how you can able to update once. Hope you have followed the update. Now, let us see the delete option. Now, please observe delete table syntax. Delete from table name. You can give simply like this, or where condition. You can delete it. Okay, so remember, this is how you can able to use the delete sort of syntax. Delete from table name, simple one. Delete from table name, provide it, then automatically it will delete the entire set of values from the given table. Whatever the values that you have in that particular table, entire set of values, it will be removed from that table. Next we are having another way of deleting, that is called as truncate. Truncate table name. Truncate table name is a syntax. You won't have any where class or followed the one. Then what is the difference between delete and truncate? Both the one will be useful for us for deleting the values or completely removing the records in the table. Now observe carefully. You only have to say what is the difference. Observe first what I am trying to do so that you can understand. So first I'm taking up our books table. See the values that are existing in the books table first. Observe keenly the values. 105, 110, 115, 120. Now I'm using delete option from books. Okay, enter. 5 values have been deleted successfully. Now put select star from books. Nothing is there in this. Okay, that's good. Now I'm inserting the values into it again, into the books table. Insert into, we have already that syntax. Let's take up that. I'm inserting once again the values into the table. Values inserted successfully. Run it. Whenever you are working out with the delete option, the identity value will start from where it stopped. Where it has got stopped, from there it is running for us. Identity value in the previous occasion, it has stopped at 120. Now it started from there itself, 125, 130, 135, 140, 145. Now same thing, let us do the same thing for the truncate. Truncate table name. Truncate table books. Successfully. Now run this. Nothing is there. Now again insert the values again. Now again execute the books. See now the ISBN number which has stopped, it has been reset from the beginning again. Truncate will reset the identity column from the beginning, whereas delete starts the identity values from where it has got stopped. So it has got stopped at previously 120. So it has started 125, 130, 135 like that. It has started. Now see here, this is how it is when you are taking up. So followed this difference between truncate and delete. Now if you run this particular one, students table, we have provided the values to it. Serial numbers I myself has provided to it. Okay, so nothing, just see, if I provide this, the students table, let us delete students. All 5 values it has deleted. You want to insert any time, any value, you can insert. Now see, inserted successfully. Now again, you do the delete, the truncate also, and just run the table. Select statement. See the one, all 5 values it is showing. Now again, you give the truncate table, students. Okay, nothing is there in that table. Now you insert again the same stuff, it will be inserted. You can see now. No changes. As it is, whatever the value that you have given, the same values that is displaying for us. So normal aspect point of view, nothing, no, there is no change between the select and the delete and truncate, except if you have identity function, then you can see the difference. The identity function will provide you the difference between the delete and truncate, where the identity will be going to be starts from where you have stopped, whereas the identity will be resetted in the truncate option. You usually yearly aspect point of view, if you are trying to filter or if you are trying to move the values, likewise if you are trying to do so, then the best way is to go with the truncate. Yearly value, the entire set of uh, resetting of the numbers, everything will be done. Oh no, we don't want to do any resetting of the numbers, likewise you don't want to, then go for the delete set of option, and it starts from where the values have been ended. Fine. Now let's see this is about basically the CRUD operations: creating, inserting, updating, deleting, and truncate. Now another command that we need to learn is about drop command. Drop the table name. That means entirely, if at all, if you would like to remove the entire table, then how? If you would like to remove the entire table, we can able to remove it by using the concept called as drop. Okay, entirely the table itself, if you would like to remove, then the best approach that we have is called as drop table. So let's see, drop table name. So suppose if you want to drop the students, the table, once when you drop completely, it will be removed. Now see, the table is dropped. Only administrator can able to get back that particular table, at that too if he is having the backup, otherwise not. So drop table name is the one that we have to follow in order to remove entirely the table. So now see, if you refresh it, the table won't be present. See, table is removed. Okay, like this manner we can remove. Suppose if you want to remove the books table, drop table books. It is also dropped. Refresh it. Now nothing is there. See, you have created the table. I'll show you. See here, I'm creating a table. The moment you create the table is created successfully. You are inserting the values. These all values you have inserted. Now refresh the table. You can see the table. Okay, students. Now, if you use the delete, see, delete option, delete all 5 rows deleted. What it is saying? Now, if you see this table, it is not showing anything. Now, whereas when you give the drop table students, including structure and everything, it will be removed. Now see, it won't be there.
Okay.
Completely removed. Okay. So that is the difference between drop, delete, and followed truncate. And these things you should have to practice. Practice is needed. once when you do practice, then only you can able to understand this. Clear? Now, let us first now I'm going to show you another important set of stuff. I'm creating once again this particular table for you. Okay. Now refresh it and observe the table books, dbo.books. What it is giving? It is giving as a dbo.books. In other words, we will call it as a schema name. Okay. dbo is called as a schema name. Usually, if you consider a building, big building or house or whatever it is, or you consider the library. In library, you will have different departments, department A, department B, department C, department D, likewise. For each and every department, we'll have some specific separate books. This is called as entirely a library. In library, you have HR books will be there, and financial books will be there. You'll have some what is that? Production books will be there. Computers books will be there, and mechanical books will be there. These are all separate departments.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Microsoft SQL certification training in partnership with Microsoft. The course link of which is given in the description below.
For each and every department, I would like to have separately the details to be provided. To provide that, what we do, we will be going to create a schema for all these departments, separate schemas I will create. How to create the schema then? Very simple, two ways you can create a schema. You can create in two ways. One is just by specifying create schema name, providing the authorization. Authorization is there, then only you can able to create the schema, otherwise not. Now, let's provide it here. Security schemas. See here, these are all the default schemas that you have. You are providing a group manner. You are creating a, not, we should not say as a group, you are providing a separate schema so that all those HR users can access that particular schema, and whatever the tables that are present, that one they can able to access in that. So schema, I'm creating a new schema name HR. Provide any name, anything. Okay. Search owner, provide the owner. All these owners you provide are mandatorily, we need to have compulsorily admin, okay, should be existing, and security data reader these things has to be existing, or otherwise just simply say public. That means anyone can able to access, everyone can able to access that particular schema. Only to some specific user has to be there, then we can able to provide in a different or provide with some name of the user, then only that user can able to access. Different set of steps, but all those things not required for us. Our main motive is to how to create the schema. So the schema will be created like this. Just select it, click OK, click OK, click OK. That's all. HR is the schema that is created. Now again, another new schema. I'm creating another one. Finance schema. Another schema created successfully. Okay, and broad schema. Now, whenever you want to insert onto the specific schema, so suppose now I'm creating, I'm inserting some values, creating some tables. While creating the table, so suppose HR dot, provide that dot operator and follow it to the one. In HR, we are having employees. In HR, employees table, employee ID, employee name, designation, salary, like this. In which database you are creating? In Apple DB, I'm creating. Apple DB is the database name. HR is the schema name. Employees is the table name. Now, again, another one. I will create another table. In HR, under HR schema only, HR, department, D name, department ID, location, That means the department is located in which location? HR employees, department. Okay. Now you see, refresh it, department and employees. Okay. HR employees, HR departments, like that. We can create the schema of our own. You want to have some another set of stuff that you would like to, you can provide it with respect to that schema. Any data that you would like to, you can provide it here. That is what the need of the schema. Don't compare the schema name with your Oracle or MySQL things. The schema definition and followed with the presentation, everything is entirely different if you compare with other data types, other databases. Don't compare the schema creation and schema sort of thing with other sort of technologies like Oracle or MySQL, anything you take. Why? Because there is entirely the look and feel and everything are entirely different. Okay, fine. So this is about the schema, how to. Now you can insert the values, normal how you are inserting the values in the same fashion you can. But deleting aspect point of view, when you are trying to drop the table, HR dot department, like that you need to provide. Sometimes you can call it as a two-part way of schema definition. Two-part way means this is one part and this is second part. Two-part way of schema definition means this is the one. This is first definition, that is schema name you are giving. Second name that you are providing is the department name. So that is the reason why people will call it as a two-part name also. Okay, don't get confused. Two-part name means the schema name followed with the table name forms to be the two-part way. Now let's first recollect our earlier concept of primary key and foreign key. I think you remember earlier we have created primary key and foreign keys. So let us take up the same. We need to take up few things. So I'm discussing few set of stuff here about cascade, schema, vector. Let us discuss these things and then we'll move ahead to the next set of one, that is select command. In today's agenda, if possible, we'll discuss all this set of stuff. Let us first start with the cascade. For this cascade, you need to know, once again, we need to recollect our previous concept of primary key and foreign key set of stuff. So what is this cascade, on delete cascade, on update sort of thing? Likewise, we are having cascading rules actually. On delete, the syntax will be looking like this. No action, cascade, set null, set default. On delete, no action, cascade, set null, set default. These are the things that you have when you are taking up this. Similarly, we are having other set of commands like on update, no action, cascade, or set null, or set default. So let us first create a table. For this, create table, employee. Let's create under Apple DB. Okay, so I'm having the table, creating the table name as employee. Two tables we will be going to create. One table with primary key. Let me show you first without cascade and with cascade, set null and all. So primary key, the primary key I'm creating, create table, DAPT table, DAPT number, integer, constraint, DAPT number underscore primary key, dname, varchar location. Okay, so I'm having a table like this. Now let's insert some values into this. Values we have created. So all those values it is displaying for us. Now I'm creating employee table. EMP number, I'll create it as a primary key. Employee number, employee name, salary, gender, care, check constraint. I'm giving a check constraint, gender, in. Okay, next. Check gender in. Similarly, money also you can provide greater than 0. Okay, salary I'm giving here it is greater than 0, so that it will checks whether the value is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then only we will be inserting. Otherwise, we are not supposed to insert the value. Okay, that's what it means actually. Okay, and then okay, fine. Now department number, same data type should be existing. What is the data type that you have provided here in the above? When you are taking up the primary key, when you are giving the foreign key also, same data type should has to present with same length. So here I have provided as an integer. So this one also it has to be integer, comma, constraint name, foreign key, department number, references, DEPT table, DEPT number. Now observe here, I'm not giving any cascading syntax. Okay, without cascading, first I'm trying to show you what will happen. Okay, so that you can able to see the difference between with cascade and without cascade. Now let's create this table. Let's insert the value. Now let's insert the values into the table. Employee values, employee number 1000. Okay, and let's provide the some values to the employee name, employee salary, all these details you should have to provide it. Yes. Department number 10. Now let's insert the values. Okay. Now please observe first, select from DEPT table and also EMP table. Okay. See the values. Okay. 10 is connected here. Thrice it has repeated. Here, 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 and 20 has repeated twice. And 30 has repeated twice. Now, suppose I would like to delete this particular record. This record I want to delete. So what we give? Delete from employee. Okay, where employee number equal to generally 1007. Okay, now see, when I am trying to delete the employee from the employee table, one row affected. Now, similarly, 1005. When I am trying to delete, this is a child table. This is my parent table. Okay. Now, observe here. In child table, the records have got deleted. Now, suppose when I try to delete from DEPT, where DEPT number equal to 10. Delete from, when you are trying to delete from the parent table, what it is saying? Delete from DEPT table. When you are trying to delete, it is not allowing. It is saying delete statement has conflicted referential constraint. Since you are having a table, in child table, the record is existing, the 10 is existing still. So it is not allowing us. This 10 record, it won't allow you to delete. Why? Because foreign key is existing in between these two. Always, if you try to delete from the parent table, this is what the thing happens. Error it will tries to provide us. So to overcome that, what we have to do, we can do one thing. Just observe here. So in order to overcome this particular thing, what we should have to do is first delete all the records from employee table. Okay, delete all the records from the employee table, and then you see you can delete it. Now you can delete all the values from the department table also. That means always you need to remove child values, child table records first, then you remove the parent table. Yes, it will be fine without any problem. It will be going to be deleted for us. But as soon as you delete, you delete the record in parent, then automatically it has to the record from child. We can able to do it so by using the concept called as cascade. So let's see how the cascade will work. So now let me drop the table first. I'm dropping the table. Let me drop the department table also. Okay, completely I've dropped. Nothing is there. Now I'm recreating the table. Okay, let's create the table. Let's insert the values into the table. Now in child table, that means this employee table, references, after references, provide it here on delete cascade, or you can provide not null, either of the way, no issues. In child table, you provide like this on delete cascade. Now let's create this table. Table is created successfully. There is no values. Now let's insert the values into the table. Now we got the parent table and child table. Values are present. You can see. Now I will try to delete from this DUPT table. I'm deleting. See the values. Okay. Now one row affected. See now earlier we got an error, but now it is not giving that error. Simply it is able to delete. Now see the records. See the records of 10. Gone. Here also it removed. From the parent also it has removed. From the child also it was able to remove. Previously it is not allowing us, saying that okay, the constraint is there, so we can't delete, like that. It has given the error. But now when you are giving on delete cascade, then immediately it is deleting us. Now to show you once again, on delete, I mean whenever you are working out with the set null operation, let us take up the set null operation, how it will works. Okay, now let me put here on delete. Instead of cascade, I will put set null. Observe here carefully. Now I'm creating the table once again, inserting the values, selecting the table, all values it is showing us. I'm creating the table once again. Let me insert the values to select the one. Okay, now let me delete on delete cascade. Okay, let us delete the parent table value. 10 I am deleting. Now see the table values. Null, null. Number will be removed, but remaining all records, it will be remain same. Only null will be remained here. So that is what the on delete cascade and set null is of. Hope you all got it. How to use the on delete cascade, in which scenarios. Got it? In place of on delete, you can put update also. No issues with that. Clear? I can insert another new value, 50. Now I can update this value. See now, see these tables. Now here null is there. I will put 50 other department values. I will update. The syntax of the update, I think you remember. Update table, set column name value, column name value, where condition, date table, set employee, set DPT number equal to 50, where employee number equal to 1000. Okay, now you can see 50 is there at a bed, and this one has been replaced with 50. Similarly, you can insert the values of 10, say example, and I can update the department value with 20 or any other thing also. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 is there. And this 1004 and 1005, I'm updating with 10 and 50. Okay, now see. Like this I can modify the required set of manner, the details using the update. Okay, so hope you have followed the cascade set of stuff. You can drop the table at any point of time. You can drop the table, drop the tables very easily. Dropped it. Now if you refresh, nothing will be present there. See, tables have been dropped successfully. Now coming to the schema, Schema is like a subunit group aspect point of view. If you would like to, then you can create as a schema. Before creating the schema, first of all, you should have to expand this, create the schema. Say example, I'll remove the schemas that I have. Let me show you. So I'm creating a schema, select it, right click, new schema, sales schema. Give some name, click OK. Any name you can provide. Now, how to use the schema? You can put it here under sales.dept. Okay, that means in sales, I have a department and also sales related employees records I'm maintaining. So just create like this, execute. Now you see the table is going to have sales schema and followed with the DEPT. You can insert the values in the same form. Okay, and you can call it in the same form here. Yes. Compulsorily, you should have to provide the schema name and followed with the table name. This sort of declaration will call it as a two-part way of schema. We'll call it as a two-part way of declaration of schema. Similarly, you can provide sales employee under sales table, employee tables. These are all. Now, sales dot employee. If you want to insert, compulsorily you should have to provide complete two-part schema name. Then only you can able to insert. Otherwise, not. See now, running also the same. Now run these values. Okay, so sales department. Okay, that's it. This is how the usage of the schema is. Inside the sales table, you have department table and employee table. We have by default always it will create in the form of a dbo dot. If you observe dbo dot like that manner, it will create for us whenever you are working out. Now, this is about the cascading and schema. Now let us discuss about the alter table. Before proceeding with the alter table, when we need or whenever you want to do some modifications to the structure of the table. Okay, structure of the table means integer to varchar or varchar to integer or varchar to money or money to integer or any data types aspect point of view if you would like to change or length of that particular database table if at all if you would like to change anything. All these things we can do. Say example, syntax of this particular one, how it will look. But before that, let's understand what else the operations we can. Provided if data is there means observe the data and accordingly you need to change. Simply you want to change means it's not possible. Say example, if you observe this sales table in employee here, if you see, I have already provided varchar of 20 and here we are having around 7 characters like this is there. But less than 7 characters if you try to modify means no, it's not possible. Minimum of 7 characters should be there. Now earlier it is 20 employee name. Now you wants to make it 5 or 4. No, it's not possible. Why? Because minimum of 7 characters is there. So at least 7 characters, up to 7 characters only you can change. If you want to give below 7 characters, it's not permitted. That means you can increase or decrease the thing. If you want to increase or decrease the width of a column or changing the data type, change null to not null, add a new column, drop in constraint, add a constraint. All these things we can able to do. Dropping an existing constraint, add a constraint, deleting a constraint, we can able to do by using the alter command. So the syntax of this alter command will be going to look like this. I'm giving here the syntax of this constraint will be going to look like this. Alter. See, with respect to the constraint aspect point of view, with respect to the deleting of the column aspect point of view, likewise, we will be going to have a different syntaxes. 3 different syntaxes will be going to come across. alter table, table name, alter column, column name, data type, null or not null. Like this, you can have the syntax. Okay, so let's see how it will be done. So for this sake, I'm creating a separate table. Create table. Students, let's take up yes number integer, yes name, char, integer. Let's create the table. Table created successfully. You can see the web table. Okay, table is created successfully. Now, what are the data types that you have here? See, null, 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 char 20. Now, let me modify here. Alter table students. Okay, I'm changing the data type and the length also I'm changing. See, now see, just refresh it. Previously it is showing char, now it is showing where char. Clear? You can change any data type that you would like to. Now, see here it is null. Right now it's showing. Okay. Now try to modify it to not null. Now when you are trying to modify the not null, observe here carefully. Students, is there any values? No. Now suppose, observe carefully this particular point. Suppose I have inserted students values, yes number, class. Okay, so serial number 1, 10. Now observe, start from students. Now there is a null value here. There is a null value here. Now when you want to modify the column to not null, you should have to make this first, okay, some value or insert some value into the yes name. Then only you can able to make it as a not null. Note, you will not modify to a not null. That's what it means. Okay. Now see. Now suppose, let us suppose you want to modify it. Cannot insert null into the column. Why? Because it is not having null value. You should have to provide it. So let's update it now. Okay. Now I have inserted the record. Now you can alter the text. Now you can refresh it. See, not null. Be cautious. This particular one, it is an interview set of question. So we make sure that if already the value is having some null value, fill that null value, then only come over and update it with not null. Otherwise, it will gives you errors. Make sure. Okay. Fine. Now let's go to the next thing in this, adding and deleting and followed with dropping a constraint. Add. I want to add a new column or drop a column. How to? When you want to add or drop a column, the syntax again it will differ. Alter table name, add column name, data type, width. If you want to add a constraint, you can add the constraint type like this. So suppose I'm adding a new column. Okay, so let's add. Please refresh it. See now, new column created successfully. Suppose you want to add a new column with constraint. Student ID, integer, unique constraint, creating. Refresh it, it will create a unique constraint for us. It will create automatically one index also for us. Regarding the indexes and all, we will be learning in the later stage. But remember, whenever you are creating a primary key and a unique constraint, automatically it will create an index for us. I repeat, whenever you are creating a primary key and unique constraint, then automatically it will create one unique, one index for us. One index for us automatically. So what is this index? What is the purpose and all? We'll see in the later stage. But remember, whenever you are creating a unique index or follow with the one, our index will be created for us automatically. Now, suppose you want to drop a column. Yeah, you can drop the column. Dropping a column. Okay, drop column name. See, since if you try to drop the column SNO, fine, it will drops. Whereas the SID is having a constraint. So when a constraint is existing to a table, move first the constraint. I mean, drop the column. So that is the reason why previously it has given error. Say example, if I give here SID, it will give error. Why? Because you are having a constraint associated with it. So what you need to do is first drop the constraint. To add or drop the constraint, you need to follow the syntax. Then only you can. Alter table name, drop constraint name. Okay, so alter table students, drop constraint, the constraint name SID underscore UQ. First drop the constraint. Now drop the column. See, without that, if you try to means, it will give you error. Make sure, be cautious. Now suppose if you are having a primary key or any check constraint, anything, yes, you can. So suppose you want to add a new column. Now I'm adding a new column. Okay, I have created a new column, yes number, but it should be a not null. When you want to make it a column, then it should be a not null. Then only you can say primary key should have to exist with not null. Now I'm making it as a not null. Alter table students, yes number as a not null, not reflecting. Why? Because here it's having some constraint. It updated. That's what it means. See, cannot contain a null values. Default definition specified or the column being added is the identity or time stamp it is having. Okay, alter table students and serial number. Okay, let's make it null. Then we'll. Okay. Since the table is this particular column itself is not existing, that is the reason why it is showing us like that. Okay, now let's see students. Yes, number. Now any values are there in that? Check students. One null value is there. Okay, so delete all the values first. Because of that only it is not able to insert in the previous. Now all the values are deleted. Now you can make this particular one as a not null. More than once. Now is it? Whenever you are making it with not null to null, this is the issue sometimes you will be getting. Why? Because you have to check whether any null values are present or anything, then only you can. Otherwise, simply trying to modify means it won't modify it. Now, alter table students, alter column, yes number, int not null. We have added the column. Already we have added the column. Now we need to modify it with not null. Run it. Now let's see, refresh it. See now, not null. Now you want to make it primary key. Okay, yes, you can. Alter table, students, add constraint, constraint name, primary key. Yes, alter table, table name, add constraint, constraint name, primary key. That's it. Now, see, now it will become a primary key. See now, primary key. And as soon as the primary key is created, as I said, index also will be created for us. Okay. So suppose if at all, if you want to drop the constraint again, drop a constraint, alter table, students, drop constraint. What is the constraint name? SNO underscore PK. First to drop the constraint, then only you drop the column. Without dropping the constraint directly, you cannot do so. Not without dropping constraint, you cannot drop the column. Okay, so let me draw. I have dropped already this one. Now you can drop the column, or you want to remove the column, anything you can do so. Alter table, students, drop column, column name. Alter table, students, drop column, SN. Now refresh it. this table is not existing. The column is not existing. So this is how you can drop the columns, create the columns, anything you can do so here in this. Okay.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides Microsoft SQL certification training in partnership with Microsoft. The course link of which is given in the description below.